and welcome to another episode of Rooted and Rich, where we talk about making purpose-driven financial decisions and learning to build and move toward the journey of financial freedom. Today, we have Rashauna Scott. Rashauna is a real estate mogul, and I'm so excited to have her on. I remember when she first started her real estate journey, and we met, and so she's grown so much, and I'm so excited and proud of her. So, Rashauna, on the Rooted and Rich podcast, we talk about our money stories. So we talk about the highs, the lows, the lessons, and how we've grown from that, right? So tell us a moment with money that was a difficult moment for you. I already know. We're going to call it a learning point. All right, tell us about it.
Well, there was a fix and flip project where I had a partner at the time. My partner and I raised the capital, and my partner pretty much like managed the construction for the project. And everything that could go wrong with it did. You know, of course, it was the rehab from hell. I know you know all too well about the hair getting broken into, the AC got stolen, all this, that, and the third kept happening. And next thing you know, we're in the hole $50,000, and we got an investor that we got to pay back. And this is before my brand was what it was today. You know, I was still working, growing, and building. And I was like, look, my name is not going to be the name that's out here talking about you out here losing people's money or this, that, or whatever, right? My business partner ended up leaving the state, left.
In the middle of the project?
Was like, hey, we can file bankruptcy on a business and we can just be done with it. And I was like, no, I was like, listen, first of all, I was like, God didn't call me this far to only call me this far. You know, I was like, my story does not end here, you know? And so after I wiped my tears, I got to work and I hustled and I grind. I worked through it. I paid the investor back, and we have a great relationship to this day. He's actually now one of my number one investors for any of my future projects because he saw how I persevered through that. And I mean, I must have been like 28. Like I wasn't, you know, 27. Like I wasn't older. I didn't have like a ton of experience with making a lot of money yet, or even losing a lot of money. But that was
the money that you lost.
Girl, that's
that happened to me on a project, and the contractor stole it. He stole $85,000.
Crazy.
I cried. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't even have $85,000 to give him.
Right.
My lender is expecting me to put that $85,000 into the project.
Yep.
I don't know what to do. And ultimately, I did the same thing. I went to him and I said, listen, this is what happened. Yep. And to this day, we have a great relationship. And he's like, you know what? You always do what you say you're going to do. And you're honest. You let us know what's going on. We love your communication.
Yeah.
So you can come to us with anything.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, no matter what you do, especially if you're taking risks in investments or real estate or whatever the case, the biggest thing is that, like, you have to stay in communication with people. Like, as much as we want to run and cry and whatever, like, at the end of the day, you know, you got to persevere, push through. Communicate, say like, hey, I need help. Hey, this is what's going on. And I think that's the thing. Like, so many people hide and then just go ghost. And then next thing you know, it's 2 years later. And it's like, where this person go? Whatever happened to this person? You know, they fell off the face of the earth. But, you know, those of us who stick around and work hard and push through, you know, we still here.
We still here. So let me tell you what I say in Rooted and Rich about that. In my book, I have a whole chapter that's dedicated to failure. And the title of the chapter is A Setback is a Setup for Success. And the way you do that is through communication and saying, I need help. There's no pride when you lost somebody's $85,000 or somebody's $50,000. Ain't no pride at that point.
Right.
Just like, all right, so you got through it.
Yep.
And what have you done since then to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
I am very mindful and careful about who I partner with. Yeah, because partnerships, you know, can make or break your business, make or break your reputation, you know, all the things. And so I just know, you know, I like the brand that I built and the name and the recognition that I built, like, it's just, I worked too hard to let somebody come in and, you know, jeopardize that.
Right.
So I would say I'm very careful in regards to that. Also in regards to projects, like, you know, back then when I was flipping and taking on projects and even working with other investors, like, our margins just weren't that large, you know? And so, of course, that was a huge lesson even then, so where like moving forward, any flip that I did after that had to have a minimum, at least a 6-figure profit on it. Because, okay, if anything does happen, okay, maybe, we still clear 80 or 60 or whatever, right? Like,
Right.
because 50,000 is too close to break even,
It is.
It's
It's
either,
for break even. I tell people don't even do it. If it's a 30,000 profit, it's not working. Because you're gonna lose it. You're gonna have $30,000 of mistakes. You're gonna have $30,000 of surprises.
Yep.
Even if you do an inspection, you can do everything right, and you're still gonna have $30,000 of something that you didn't expect.
Exactly. And especially in Chicago and even like the surrounding suburbs, you
Yeah.
got like these village inspections and all of these random requirements that'll come up, like you said, that you weren't even expecting.
Girl, let me tell you, I had a project where we were in the middle of the project and, a dumpster. Dumpster is a normal thing, right? We get the dumpster delivery. My contractors had put concrete in the back was broken up. So they put like some little barriers around the water meter so nobody would hit it.
Mm-hmm.
They dropped the dumpster right on top of that, which broke the actual water line for the whole block. Knocks the water out for the whole block. I mean, and so the people called the city of Chicago. And so not only was nobody getting water, but the water was literally shooting up on my property. Like when you see an oil well in the block, but it was water.
I know you were lying.
I was like, and the dumpster company, they, of course, didn't take any responsibility for it at all whatsoever. But somebody had seen them drop the dumpster on, and the dumpster was sitting on it. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. But again, and that was a 30, because we didn't have to replace the water service until that happened. But since that happened, the city required us to replace the whole water service.
Yeah.
So not only did that, but we had to do it on an emergency basis. $30,000. Okay. That's why you can't have a $30,000 profit, because it ain't gonna work.
Yes.
So what are you working on now?
Well, we launched a brokerage in February. So I am part investor owner in a Keller Williams location on the south side of Chicago. So that is going very well. And we are continuing to grow that, build that, grow agents, whether it's brand new agents or agents that are coming over to KW to transition into more of an independent model. We're more of like an entrepreneur's brokerage, if you will, right?
Okay.
You have some brokerages that are very much so like do it for you, right? Like, they have these higher fees, but because of the higher fees, like things can be more convenient, right? It is laid out for them, right? You click a button and you kind of have a lot of things, at your disposal, but you also pay for that.
Right.
Versus the KW model is they teach you to just run a very independent model where like you are the CEO, you are running your business, you are setting up your systems, you are in control, and you keep majority of your money and majority of your profit. So just spreading that more and more, I would say, educating agents, helping them grow their businesses or their teams or wherever they want to go.
What keeps you going? How do you keep going in all of this? Because every day is not a good day.
Girl, what keeps me going? Knowing like my end goal, knowing that when I'm ready to take a step back, sit back, chill, like I have certain things that are set up and in place.
Yeah.
And that's really.
So you've established a vision for yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is the first chapter of my book. Yeah. We talk about establishing a vision for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, what my next couple years looks like, God willing,
Yeah.
I don't have any kids yet. I'm not married. So, prayerfully, that season is coming. And when it does come, like, I want to make sure like my investments are set up and things are in place. So I'm not just working all the time and hustling all the time. Like hustle culture gets old, like so many people glorify it, but it really gets old. Life is about so much more just hustling, which about, with the.
Well, let me tell you what I learned from you. What am I going to say I learned from you? I learned who, not who.
That book changed my life.
Rashauna said, hey, it's the beginning of the year. Let's have lunch. We had lunch and we were just talking about what our goals were. And Rashauna said, I'm going to tell you about this book, Who Not How.
Yes.
That like is my thing that I say every time I'm in the midst of that hustle culture, trying to figure it out myself. I'm like, who's supposed to be doing this?
Or even when you're in the midst of procrastination and you try to figure out like, what's taking me so long? Why, why can't I get this figured out? It's like, well, maybe because you're not the person that's supposed to be doing.
Right. And so you get somebody else to do it. And that, again, is about asking for help. Because there's people and people are like, well, I can't afford to pay somebody. Well, you know what? There's been plenty of times that I haven't been afraid to go to somebody and say, hey, I need some help with this.
Yes.
And I'm not paying them.
Yep.
But guess what? There's plenty of people who come to me all the time and say I'm not. So the universe, it goes around, right? And we help each other. So
Yes.
that is another episode of the Rooted and Rich podcast. Rashauna Scott, how can people find you if they're looking for you?
So at Rashauna Scott everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms, RASHAUNASCOTT. You can also find my women's investment community on Instagram at Flipping in Heels.
Flipping in Heels, y'all. That's what we do.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. And stay tuned for another episode of the Rooted and Rich podcast.